So we're going to go into our conversation for the day. She is the founder of Mental and Environmental Development Initiative for Children, the MEDIC, a non-profit organization, which is focused on inculcating environmental and social values for development, as well as many other things. She's one of the selected goalkeepers at a recent gathering of like minds hosted by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. She's an entrepreneur, a fellow of the Royal African Young Leadership Forum, and she also birthed the Kids Clean Club and the Kids Beach Garden. Doyinsola Ogunye is with us live in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
When did you discover your zeal and your passion for, what you do to save Lagos beaches and the environment at large?
It started a long time ago. Not too long, about 11 years ago now. And when I started, we moved from a particular part of Lagos State to another part of Lagos State, which was not as clean as where I was staying. And I said to myself, what can I do about it? There's so many children running around. There's so many people that just didn't care about the environment. So I reached out to a few adults and nobody took it seriously. And I was still in school. I was in university then. Nobody took it seriously, so I said, okay, let me talk to the kids. And I started to play games with them, environmental friendly games with them. And they were so interested in it. And from there, we started doing more activities. We started going to schools. We started going to churches. And we started recycling and we started tree planting. And it just blew up from there.
Fantastic. How have you managed, the volunteer beach cleaning and tree planting programs, especially, during the lockdown period?
Okay, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a lockdown, especially when nobody was allowed to move around. But I live very close to the ocean, so from time to time I would go to the beach to see what's going on. And I realized that in that period of total lockdown, the beaches were clean. I had never seen it so clean after 2 weeks. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight. And because we had to focus on, getting people palliatives, especially people in the coastal communities in Ibejuleki. So we focused on, raising funding to give them food, to give them water and things that they would need during that period. However, we still reached out to people, for our tree adoption program. We have a lot of trees on the beach, but because of the lockdown, we're not allowed to go there. So we encourage people to, to support us while we use the funding to, continue to pay salaries, to get water, to get manure and things like that for the plants.
What are some of the strangest things that you've seen washed up ashore, or that you've seen people throw, or that you've had to clean up during your, beach cleaning exercises?
Wow. Yeah, we call them interesting finds. Every time we see something interesting, like the first question is, how did this get here? We'll see things like dolls for kids. We'll see syringes. We'll see candles. We know how they get there anyway. Candles and fruits and calabashes and so many things like that we have to clean. We'll see clothes. We'll see underwear. A lot of underwear, a lot of clothes. Masset stencils. We see that as well on the shoreline. So many things. The list is endless. So many things. But when you see massets on the beach, the question is, how did this get here? It's very interesting. Really
interesting. Have you ever found a stranded animal washed ashore?
Well, we've seen dead turtles washed ashore. Wow. Very sadly.
Very sad.
Yes, we've seen poker fish washed. This, I don't know if you watch all those cartoons that it just blows up.
Yeah.
Yes, we've seen that washed ashore. I've seen. Is it an electric eel or a snake-like animal? I've seen starfish, I've seen jellyfish as well on our shorelines.
How far has your conversation with government gone, to protect poaching?
To be very honest, it hasn't gone really far. And it's quite shameful that a lot of things like this is still happening in 2020, in places like Victoria Island, Ikoyi, Lekki Phase 1 and the like.
And you'd expect that there'll be more engagement, it being a kind of elitist, environment.
Exactly. Knowing that this is an international crime, you can't have something like that go on and people just not do anything about it or just say nothing is wrong. It's almost synonymous with, if somebody is stealing a bag in front of you, if somebody is killing somebody else in front of you, are you just going to say, I don't know anything about it? Especially when it happens consistently. There's been a lot of people, especially the expatriate community in Nigeria, they've been very, very, very passionate about, protecting these animals, especially the turtles, because they are critically endangered right now.
What are some of the strangest things you've had people say to you when you approach them, for help or to try and educate them or engage them, in a cleanup exercise?
Well, the regular one is, now my papa get the land. It's my father's land. That's usually what I get all the time, when I reach out to people. You hear things like, let the government do it, but my response is always, it's not the government that littered. It's people like me and you. It's not the animals that littered, it's people like me and you. So definitely people like me and you should actually right that wrong.
And, it's something that a lot of people, it's a cycle, and I guess a lot of people are not getting it. Should we have more formal learning or education of these issues in our school system, do you think?
Yes, but more importantly, I think people should start to change their mindsets concerning some things that have to do with the environment, because we live here and we need to keep it in the best possible, shape for children that would come after us, right? And the truth is, whatever you see in your waterways, whatever you see on the streets and the drainages is the reflection of the kind of people that live there. So shout out to everybody that lives in Lekki, because I live in that area as well, but it is really dirty. You come out of the house, you see blocked drainages, you see people not recycling. We need to do something about it. Even if you can't come out and physically do it, but when people are doing it, encourage them. Let people know that we're not dirty people. We're not people that condone, pollution and things like that. So even if it's taught in schools, it needs to be enforced at home. Schools shouldn't just do the teaching and leave the practical for somebody else to do. They should encourage the children to come out, to do stuff, to recycle, to upcycle, to start composting and things like that. Growing up, the school I went to, we used to plant seeds, and watch it grow. And it did something to me growing up, because you are responsible for something, no matter how little. So I think we need to encourage the children to take more responsibility.
So, plastic waste is a huge problem. Kenya, I think they banned the use of nylon bags, and departmental stores now have to pack stuff in paper bags.
Yes.
Why are we not adopting that model, do you think?
I would say that first of all, it all comes back to the mindset. A lot of people like to do everything in convenience, convenience stores, convenient packaging. When people have parties now, they use disposables, because before plastic came, we were using glass bottles when we had our parties, but now everybody wants to be, it's basically a disposable generation right now. So that makes it a bit difficult, because if you put in a law and people are not ready to actually, follow that process, it's almost a stalemate. Because I also heard that even in Kenya, people still smuggle it in from Uganda and the like. That's the plastic. nylon bags and things like that. So I would say that the first things first, we need to start changing our mindset. There's the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. First thing you need to do is to reduce your waste, by changing, by changing your lifestyle just a little bit. Like if you're going to the store, you can decide to take a bag with you. If you're not picking up one or two things, if you're not picking up not more than one or two things, you can actually hold it and leave the store. You don't need bags. But sometimes when people go to the store, they need like 5 bags. Oh, I want to use it to dispose my waste. Oh, I want to use it for this. Oh, give me more, give me more, give me more. People just want more of things, even if they're not going to use it for anything. So I think we need to start retracing our steps that way, and also continue to talk to the producers of these, the manufacturers rather of this product, to start to, to call them back, because it's too much. Lagos has a population of 22 million and counting people.
Depending on who you ask.
True. Yeah, so we need to start recalling these things. We need to start, telling each other, especially in our smaller communities, to stop these things. I have actually banned single-use plastic in my house. I've banned it in my place of work, and right now people in my place of work are now reducing the amount of plastic they consume, the amount of waste generally they consume. They're recycling all of it, and they're also taking that culture and that system to their homes as well.
For a state like Lagos and the amount of plastic waste that we consume, surely we do not have enough recycling points or plants at all, and it can be quite capital intensive, setting one of these things up.
Yeah.
Is that the only drawback, or is it that they just do not know?
Okay, first of all, Lagos has a lot of people. Lagos has a lot of waste, so it should attract investors to just come in and start to work here. But there are a lot of hiccups here and there. The major one is the pickups of these recyclable materials around the state. We already have a lot of traffic. We already have bad roads, and then we have so many people on the road asking for, which papers do you have for this? Which papers do you have for that? And then most of the time, these drivers are challenged. They have sometimes, when they want to go into a particular community, they are being harassed and things like that. So there are a lot of hiccups in that regard. And then, the issue of power as well. You have to generate your power if you're going to do, proper recycling here, which is also very expensive as well. So looking at all these things and more, because if I start talking about the challenges of recycling, we might not live here today. But, looking at all these things, it makes people, take a step back, and wait for the government to do a few more things, to make it a soft landing for entrepreneurs, for startups, especially people in the recycling sector, because most people here are passionate about the environment. So sometimes they continue with their passion, and they forget the entrepreneurial part of it. And then there's like what you're between the devil and the deep blue sea, because you want to continue, but everything around you is telling you to stop, but you can't stop. So you have to continue.
Well, someone once said to me that, the emergence or the starting point for all of this was the sachetization of Lagos with sachet water and all of that.
I wouldn't say it's about the sachetization, like you called it, of the bags, but I would say plastic is not the problem. It's the use of plastic, the abuse of plastic, the misuse of plastic that is the problem, especially single-use plastic, So we need to start to draw ourselves back to, do we need this in the first place? Can we do without it? Will it be a bit uncomfortable for us to live without this? The answer is yes, it will be, but at what cost? I will give you an example. Somebody reached out to me. He has series of boats, and then he was very, very interested in cleaning the waterways. And I said, why are you interested in cleaning the waterways? He said to me that a single nylon bag, especially those black ones, once it gets into the engine of the boats, it destroys it. He has spent over 5 million naira fixing his boat engines because of a piece of plastic. So he's looking at how to get it out of the ocean, out of the waters, because it's destroying his business. The same thing with the dredges as well. Just one piece can destroy the entire dredging machine. So it's not just about the environment now. It's about businesses that even, that want to grow, but because of these things, it's killing businesses, it's killing animals, it's killing the environment, and it's killing us. So at what cost? So if I tell you that, and I tell you to take a reusable bag to the supermarket, would you not rather just take a reusable bag than allow so much plastic get into the oceans, get into the streets, get into the waterways as well? Another one that really hurt me, because I love animals a lot, the horse riders on the beach. I am on the beach a lot as well. And I had one of my horse riders that trained me how to ride horses. He had 3 horses, and after the COVID lockdown, I reached out to him. I was okay, where are the horses? And he was like, 2 are dead. And I was like, what happened? He said that they ate plastic bags. Oh. And it really, really hurt me, because it could have been avoided.
Oh. Wow. So let's talk about the Mental and Environmental Development Initiative for children.
The name Medic actually came up. I was talking to a mentor and a lawyer friend, and we're trying to get the NGO registered in 2009. And we're just always coming back with, no, you can't register this name, you can't register this name, you can't register this name. It took about 2 months, and we're still at that point. So he said to me, what are the 3 things that come to mind when you think about your vision, your dream? And I said, mental development of children, environmental development of children as well. Let them understand how they can do 1 or 2 things for the environment, because they can make the laws, they can vote, but the little things they can do to protect their environment, I think I want them to be able to do that, so that when they grow, they know that they have done this in the past and they can do this in the future as well. So that was how the name came about, and everything I have been doing, all the initiatives from the Kids Clean Club, the Kids Beach Garden, the Tire Playground, Project Help, and every other initiative that helps with the mental development and environmental development. Basically, that's all we do.
And what you've been doing has caught the attention of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And what has that reception been? How has the experience been, working with that foundation and, with some of the interactions, with that foundation?
Well, I would say it's a life-changing experience. How did I get on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was basically we rescued a turtle, one of the biggest and critically endangered turtles. That's the leatherback turtle. It was brought to us at the Kids Beach Garden. It took a while to release it, but we eventually released it. There were about 54 men telling me that I needed to pay about 5 million naira for it, and eventually we were able to negotiate after like 3 to 4 hours, and we let it go. So it made the media rounds.
They wanted to buy it for 5 million.
They wanted me to buy it. They had captured it. Yes, okay. And they were familiar with the fact that I would always go around, Lagos, trying to get turtles and everything. So they just thought, oh, okay, we have hit a big one. She's going to pay for it and things like that. So they came with that expectation, and I told them, see, I don't have any money, just release it. And it made the rounds. It went viral. And somebody from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation saw it, and she decided to nominate me to be on that platform, because in Lagos State, there are not so many people that work with goal number 14, that's life below water. And I was doing a lot. I am still doing a lot. So that's basically how I was recognized. And then I went to South Africa. We had, I saw so many other people around the world doing amazing things, older people, younger people, equally passionate about what, and it basically changed my mindset, because I was just like, when you're like, oh, you thought you're the only one doing, and then you see other people, other ideas, it's just beautiful. And then we went to another one in New York, and met more people as well, exposed to different things, learning, different things. It's beautiful. And when you see someone that has a giving heart, not too many people give. Not too many people give of their time, give of their money, give of their skill. But when you see people give, I think you just have to respect them for that first before anything else. So I try as much as possible to shy away from negativity or anything anybody says. But if you're not a giving person, when you see people give, you need to respect them.
Fantastic. And on a final note, what would you want to have achieved when someone, is speaking about what you are doing? What would you want them to have known or have picked up about the cleanup work that you're doing, the entire organization, and what they can take away from your organization?
I want us to be known as the game changers. Basically, people that disrupted the entire waste management system.
Table shaker.
Yes. We need to we need to actually break that table. We need to break that table. And the reason I'm saying that is when I started, the beach cleanups in 2015, I called it the Kids Beach Garden because I wanted children to learn these things at a very early age. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people don't like to take kids to the beach because they will drown, the beach is this, so many myths and everything. So it took us 2 years to break that paradigm, and now we're really excited because the kids actually say, "Mommy, I want to go and clean the beach." Before it never happened, but now the kids are every last Saturday of the month. That's before the COVID era. Every last Saturday of the month, you get the kids calling, we want to come, we want to clean, and then they come with their rakes and everything, and it's very, very beautiful to see. So at every time, I want to be able to go back to the board and say, okay, this is why we started, and this is what we're doing, and then we're definitely going to change the mindsets of people.